Boris Spassky is waiting. In front of him is an audience of 1,000 people. The cameras hum inside the Laugardalsfjall arena. The lights burn bright. He checks his watch again. The crowd murmurs. The champion is ready. But the chair in front of him is empty. Bobby Fischer is missing. The Soviets have sent their best machine. America have sent a problem. This is more than a world chess championship match. The intellectual integrity of the two world powers is at stake. The championship turns into a proxy war.
You think the Russians are pretty worried about you at this moment?
Oh, yeah, they have been ever since I started playing chess.
This is how one man broke the greatest chess machine in the world. For almost 24 years, every single world chess champion has been Soviet. The Soviet Union pours money and prestige into chess, building a pipeline from school clubs to elite sports academies. At the top of that machine, in 1972, stands Boris Spassky. He's the reigning world champion, a player with a universal style. The Soviets see him as evidence that socialism produces superior minds. They expect him to defend that story on the chessboard. Bobby Fischer could not be more different. He grows up in Brooklyn, raised by a single mother. Fischer has an obsession, but he is also rude, suspicious, and hard to work with. By his teens, Fischer is already a prodigy. He becomes the youngest grandmaster in history at the time and wins the US championship. In 1971, he tears through the candidates' matches, the series you must win to earn a shot at the world title. He dominates Taimonov and Larsen 6-0, with Petrosian offering a bit more resistance before losing 6.5 to 2.5 in the final in Buenos Aires. The world of chess had not seen such a performance before. On official ratings, Fischer pulls more than 100 ELO points ahead of his nearest rivals, a gap not seen before. The talent is unmatched, but so is his attitude. Reykjavik, Iceland. A tiny neutral capital perched between East and West, wins the bid to host the 1972 World Championship. The Soviet delegation arrives on time in preparation. But Fischer does not arrive. Instead, he sends telegrams and demands. He wants the prize fund increased. He wants control over TV rights. Reassurances about the playing conditions, lighting, cameras, noise, even the placement of the board. Icelandic officials plead. But each time, a new one appears. As the opening ceremony approaches, there is a real chance the match simply won't happen. If Fischer forfeits, America hands the Soviets a propaganda coup on a silver platter. Total victory without moving a single pawn. The crisis travels up the American political chain. U.S. National Security Advisor Henry Kissinger calls Fischer personally. I think if I can call him, I should just call him and tell him from a foreign policy point of view. I hope the hell he gets over there. At the same time, British financier James Slater dramatically boosts the prize money. Fischer finally eases. He boards a plane for Reykjavik. Late, but not too late. The match of the century is on. July 11th, 1972. Game 1 begins. Spassky starts with the white pieces. The Nimzo-Indian game is balanced until move 29. Fischer does something shocking. He captures on h2 with his bishop, a major blunder. g3 traps the piece, which Spassky plays immediately. Fischer resigns a few moves later. The world is stunned. The genius appears to have self-destructed. Game 2 is even stranger. Fischer complains that the television cameras in the hall are too noisy, that they're there to profit from him. He refuses to play. On the day of the game, Spassky sits at the board. Fischer does not appear. The clock runs. When time expires, the referee declares a forfeit. Spassky 2, Fischer 0. Behind the scenes, panic emerges. Organizers scramble. Is the match of the century about to implode? The Soviets don't want to be blamed. The Americans don't want their superstar to walk away. A radical solution is proposed.
He would boycott the match until hidden movie cameras are removed from the playing hall. The promoters said the entire financial structure of the match depends on recording and exhibiting the play.
No TV cameras in the player's line of sight. No big audience. Just a board and 2 chairs in a back room. Spassky has the right to reject this and claim the title by forfeit. Instead, eager to prove himself, he agrees to the compromise. Freed from the cameras he hates, Fischer looks more like himself. Game 3, move 11. Fischer plays knight to h5. A seemingly odd move. The knight can be captured by the bishop on e2, leaving black with an unfavorable pawn structure on the king side. But Fischer quietly argues the kingside momentum is worth the ugly pawns. He was right, and modern chess engines agree with him. Spassky resigns on move 41. Fischer has done it. He's beaten a man he's never beaten before. Momentum slides to the American prodigy. Something remarkable happens after Game 3. Chess fever sweeps America. Television networks run daily updates from Reykjavik. Newspapers publish diagrams of key positions and explain the drama in simple terms. In the United States, sales of chess sets and books spike. Clubs see more visitors, inspired by Fischer's story. The superstar feeds the attention, arriving late to games, stalks around the stage, complaints about the lights and cameras. Meanwhile, Spassky finds himself in an unfamiliar position, on the defensive. The Soviet champion, once seen as an invincible machine, is now painted as the beleaguered defender of a system under siege by a lone rebel. Fischer grows in the tournament. Then he does the unthinkable in Game 6, a masterpiece that will be replayed for decades. Fischer surprises everyone by playing the Queen's Gambit for the first time in a competitive game. The Soviet is stunned. His careful preparation has been rendered useless. It's man versus man now. What follows is a near-perfect positional masterpiece, which ends on move 41 with Queen f4. With too much pressure on both h6 and the rook on c7, Spassky not only resigns, but stands up and applauds Fischer. Fischer is no longer the unstable genius squandering his chances. He has become the man systematically dismantling the greatest chess system in front of a global audience. The pressure is enormous. For Fischer, every deviation threatens to become a conspiracy. the risk of a walkout never disappears. For Spassky, the pressure comes from his own side. His own people watch their champion crumble under the weight of their nation. Fischer, with iron will, finds his way. Spassky tries to mount a comeback, but Fischer's grip only tightens. Draw by draw, win by win, the American inches toward the title. By game 21, the score is 11.5 to 8.5 in Fischer's favor. The first to 12.5 points will be crowned champion. Fischer is a mere point from obtaining the ultimate crown. On move 40, Spassky calls for an adjournment, a rule that allows players to effectively pause the game until the next playing day, with the player to move sealing his next move in an envelope and handing it over to the arbiter. The move Spassky handed the arbiter was a blunder, though it never gets played. Instead, on September 1st, Spassky rings arbiter Lothar Schmid around 12:50 p.m. to concede. Fischer is officially the first US-born world chess champion. Final score, 12.5 to 8.5. Fischer's victory ends the Soviet Union's 24-year stranglehold on the world title. Across the globe, headlines frame it as a symbolic Cold War victory. The lone American genius who beat the Soviet chess empire at its own game. In the months and years following Reykjavik, chess experiences a surge of popularity. Clubs grow, tournaments multiply, and new players cite Fischer as their inspiration. Yet the champion at the center of this boom vanishes. He refuses interviews, avoids tournaments, and clashes with officials over rules and formats. When it is time to defend his title against a new Soviet challenger, Anatoly Karpov, negotiations fall apart. Fischer forfeits his crown. Karpov becomes world champion. The man who broke the Soviet chess empire disappears from the professional circuit, leaving behind that perfect, strange summer in Reykjavik.
Mr. Mayor and friends, first of all, I want to deny a vicious rumor that's been going around. I think it was started by Moscow. It is not true that Henry Kissinger phoned me during the match to tell me the moves. Okay. Chess is a great game. A game and a sport for the mind. I never thought I'd see the day when chess would be all over the front pages, here, but confined only to one paragraph in Pravda. I guess that's my fault. It just depends who's winning.